Hello. In this video, we will discuss syntax errors. If you submit a SAS program to run, the following will happen. SAS will first validate the syntax. Then, SAS will compile the statements and run them in order. SAS log collects message about the processing of SAS programs and about any error that occur. So notice, not all SAS programs will produce visible results. So for example, data step, proc import, and proc sort, they will not produce any results in the. They will not produce any output in the result tab. But all SAS programs will produce log messages. So this is a SAS code with some syntax error. So you may try to see whether you can detect the syntax error in this code. In fact, if you copy paste this code to SAS Studio, it is much easier to find error here, right? So the first part of the code, this is the code with error. And so the bottom, this is the code without error. We mentioned for different color of the text indicate different meanings. If you compare these two pieces of code, and you will notice clearly, the text, the color of the text may be different. For example, data, should be like in navy, right? But this clearly is misspelled. So, for example, like this run, see, this should be in navy, right? So indicate, that may miss a semicolon here. And so you notice this should be the name of a dataset. But for a valid name should start with either underscore or letters. But it cannot start with a number. So this is also a invalid name, because it contains a special symbols. This error is not easy to find because it looks fine here, right? But however, for this variable, if you check the data, this variable should be a character variable. And for character variable, we need to put a $ after the name. Well, if you didn't recognize those errors and you submit, if you submit the code to run, well, of course, you cannot get the result you expected, right? So then you may look at the log window and to figure out what's going on. So notice you may have warning, you may have error, and you may have note, right? So note just provide informational message and does not stop your program from executing. A note can indicate that part of your code is programmatically incorrect. And the warning just alerts you to potential problems with your code, but does not stop program executing. For example, the warning message are issued when you enter a word incorrectly and SAS is able to interpret the word, and when a program produces no output. For example, like here, see, this is a warning, right? Because data should be DATA. And SAS just assume the symbol DATA was misspelled as DAAT. So this simple error, SAS can correct it automatically. But for error, okay? So error alert you to a significant problem with your code. So SAS either stops program processing or flag errors and continue to process your program. So error are displayed in red, right? So like here, see 22. So it says syntax error, expecting one of the following, maybe a name or maybe some special symbols. So then you may notice, this is not a valid name, right? For this data step, because SAS there is an error, and SAS stop running this step, and jump to the next step. See, So this is another syntax error, okay? And so cause SAS expecting one of the following. Yeah, so then you may notice there's a semicolon is missing here. Well, so then SAS skip running this step and running the next step again. Yeah, so this is fine. I mean, so no syntax error. Yeah, but because this data set is empty, right? So essentially SAS will not run, will not produce any output. Okay. Yeah. So those are just common syntax errors. For example, misspelled keywords, so missing or invalid punctuation, yes, just like the semicolon in the code, or maybe invalid options. So to find out syntax error, so in the editor window, so pay attention to the color of the text, so which may help you identify syntax errors. And so make sure, so always check the log window to see whether there are any error indicated by SAS. Always check the log window to see if your program run properly. So this is very important. Yeah, so although sometimes SAS produce some output, but there may be some error. Just basically there is a chance, so SAS interpret the code may not as the way you expected. Okay, so make sure every time, so after you submit a program to run, and check the log window, yeah, to make sure everything is fine.